We are back with another fun-filled week of college football off of the, I want to say Christmas break, but we didn't really take a break. We just recorded a different day, and we're doing it again because of New Year's. So, Kieran, how are you? How was your Christmas?
I'm doing well. Christmas was pleasantly drunk and enjoyed watching all of the college football that's happened since.
That's fair. I forget if I asked you on the show last week or after we were done recording about drinking on holidays.
I think we were. I think we just were at the end of the podcast.
Okay. For those who missed last week's episode, if we said it on there, I asked Kieran, I'm like, do you drink on holidays with your family? Because a lot of podcasts, mainly from the South, are like, that's crazy. It's not a drinking day. And Kieran's response was, I'm Irish.
I don't
Which,
need to. Sorry, that should I should preface it with I don't really need an excuse to drink, but like, for God's sakes, you should anyway.
that's true. Also, to be clear, Kieran is Irish. He's not fake Bostonian Irish, who their great grandparents are Irish.
Yeah,
He's real Irish
as real as you can get without being
in
born
the
there.
IRA.
Yeah, in
Okay,
the IRA.
without being a terrorist, Kieran's as
Yeah.
Irish as you can get. But moving on from geopolitical issues, we're moving on to college football because that's what this show's about. We're talking Pop Tarts, Kieran.
Yes.
I got my little Pop Tarts box right here.
Perfect.
As I do in most shows, the Pop Tarts Bowl was electric. 10 out of 10. No
Oh,
notes.
yeah. Yep. We can move on. That's perfectly said. The other games.
No, the Pop Tarts Bowl had everything.
Oh, it was fantastic.
Offense, defensive stops, drama, intrigue, comebacks. I don't want to say cannibalization because they're Pop Tarts, but a sacrifice live on TV. Where else can you get this kind of entertainment, Kieran?
Seriously, it was incredibly fun, and it was the most amount of chaos and performance that you could get without being the actual CFP. Kevin, it was the People's Championship. That's what it was.
The People's Championship. And I spent a stupid amount of money on that shirt that they were selling, the People's National Champions shirt,
Love it.
and the $135 quarter zip.
Dang.
Had
That
to
is a
buy
lot.
it.
Yeah.
I was going to get a blue one, but they didn't have my size. They only had small, medium, and triple XL. So I got the white one because I didn't
Nice.
want to wear it as like a tight tank top, essentially.
Right.
And I didn't want it to be a dress.
Mhm.
It'd be a cute dress, but not my thing. I do want to address, though, you did bring up you can't get stuff like that outside of the college football playoffs. Some people are saying the Pop Tarts Bowl should be a playoff game.
Mm,
No, it should not.
absolutely.
If you think the Pop Tarts Bowl should be a playoff game, you missed the point.
Yes.
The Pop Tarts Bowl is supposed to be fun, carefree, and silly, and making it a playoff game is absolutely asinine.
Couldn't agree more.
And also, we were right, Kieran. Notre Dame does not belong in the Pop Tarts Bowl.
Yeah, I that's another great point, and we shouldn't harp on Notre Dame anymore because giving them even this platform is far too much. They've made their bed, now they're going to go lie in it. But I will say with this, that game would not nearly be as fun with Notre Dame in it. Didn't matter who they were playing, whether it be BYU or Georgia Tech. I know Georgia Tech was brought in after Notre Dame rejected it, but if that either team playing Notre Dame, that would not be nearly as fun.
No, it wouldn't. And it'd be, I don't want to say a travesty. I don't want to say ruin the sport, but it would be a travesty and it would ruin the sport. I don't think we talked about this when it happened, but I also love the fact all these schools are now going, well, we're just not going to play you, Notre Dame, if you're going to bitch and moan.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And rightly so. Like, if this is going to be what we have to hear going forward every time you don't make the playoffs, we're just not going to play you. It's as simple as that. You can play FCS teams for all we care. And FCS teams will just take the bag every time from Notre Dame. And Notre Dame will, their strength of schedule will be absolutely bottom tier.
Yeah, and the real reason behind it was they had the mutual agreement where if they were ranked top 12, they would get in automatically to a 12-14 team playoff. But if they didn't cry about missing the playoffs this year, that probably wouldn't have come out and be as widespread as it was. And a lot of these schools probably either wouldn't know or wouldn't care. If Notre Dame had handled this with class and grace and been, you know what, it sucks, but we should have won those 2 games that we lost. We'll be back next year and we'll prove them wrong. And we'll prove them wrong in the Pop Tarts Bowl. I don't think people would care as much. But because Notre Dame's like, no, we're great. It's your fault. It's your mistake that you're not letting us in. You need to recognize how great we are. And since you're not doing that to the level we want, then we're not going to play in any bowl games. I'm sure rubbed a lot of schools the wrong way.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just ridiculous. All right.
Yeah,
we'll have to move on from Notre Dame. We've trashed them enough. They're not in this conversation anymore. We'll leave it at that. We'll leave it till the new year, which is in 2 days. So,
do we need to reinstitute the ban on Notre Dame talk that we had a couple of years ago? Mainly for me, but across the board.
Yeah, I think we do. I think we do because, frankly, there are better stories out there than listening to them complain. Now, if something massive happens, we'll bring it up. But other than that, I think going into 2026, just no more Notre Dame talk.
Unless something happens. Right. Like Marcus Freeman announcing he is returning to Notre Dame. He is not going to the NFL. He was getting a lot of looks from some teams. I don't feel too strongly about this one way or the other. I think him going to the NFL would be a great career move for him. But I think also, as much as I trash Notre Dame, that is one of the top jobs in the sport.
Yeah, absolutely. And Marcus Freeman, for all intents and purposes, is just a great guy. He's a great coach, very humble guy for the most part. So
cute as hell.
Sure. But he isn't the issue with Notre Dame. Like, it's the AD and all the administration and all the marketing things that are the actual problem. The product on the field is one thing, but Marcus Freeman in and of himself, that is a good spot for him to be. He's proven that he can win games. He can, at the very least, get them to in the playoffs, albeit the national championship. And it's one of those things, like, I think for right now, there's no point in him leaving.
No. And yeah, I can probably say 4 good things about Notre Dame, and half of that's about Marcus Freeman.
Yeah.
Since I only said 4, I'll give the 4, Ciarnan. I know everyone wants to know, but there are things I think are good about Notre Dame. 1, it's a good school. You're going to get a good education there. You're going to get a degree from there that people respect. 2, I don't think they directly shuffled around priests who were doing things they shouldn't be doing.
Oh, no.
3, Marcus Freeman. It's actually 5, and 3 of them are about Marcus Freeman. Marcus Freeman, good coach. Good coach, gets guys motivated. They like him. That clip when they announced he was taking over for Brian Kelly, of all his players going crazy, like that means something to players, to fans. He's a good coach. Seems like a good guy. So there's 3 and 4. Good guy, good coach. 5, like I said already, hot as hell. My God, this man should not be on a sideline. He should be on a cover of GQ.
Do we have to bring on wives and girlfriends to the show and just be like, cutie, 1 to 10 scale?
I think we do. I think we should get someone up. No, you know what we should do?
Yeah.
Bring on a guest.
Okay.
In the off season. Don't give them a topic list, but it's wrong. It's a lie. We're gonna rate college coaches based on how hot they are, and to see if they stick around for the bit or if they leave immediately.
Okay, that's a good idea. I hope nobody listens to this, because otherwise they'll know what we're planning.
If anyone listening to this wants to come on, we're not going to do that to you.
Yeah.
Ciarnan, we're going to do that with Jared from the corner booth.
Fantastic.
I think that'll be funny.
It will be.
All right. Moving on. I expected more of a conversation about the Marcus Freeman thing, not just me saying how cute he was and probably making jokes that's going to get people mad, but it's fine. But since we talked about not moving on from your team, some people are moving on from their teams. The transfer portal is open. Rocco Beck from Iowa State a couple weeks or 10 days ago now did announce he was transferring. So you guys are transferring. Cam Coleman, the big news today, the Auburn wide receiver, announced he is entering the transfer portal, leaving the Tiger family. Ciarnan, what were your thoughts on this move?
Good move, because he is a good receiver and can make something of himself elsewhere and doesn't need Auburn slowing him down.
I don't disagree. There were some reports that a lot of the players are going to transfer because they want Durkin to keep the job.
Yeah.
I think this is a massive indictment on Alex Golesh, their new head coach. He is and was an offensive guy at South Florida, and your best receiver announces he's transferring like 2 weeks after you're there, or even a month. It's been a while. It's been enough. He's probably spoken with Alex Golesh. Why now? What did Alex Golesh do? Say, what is his game plan that you don't like? So I am moving up my timeline on the Golesh firing. I think I gave it 3 years. I'm now giving it 2.
Yeah, and it is kind of weird. Like, how many does Coleman make now in the portal from Auburn? Like, it's nearly 20, right? 20, 25, somewhere around there. It's a lot.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know whether it's Golesh clearing house on purpose or just doing it because, or like people genuinely don't like him. It is kind of weird, but Auburn is going to have some soul searching after this.
Yeah, Deuce Knight also announced today, the freshman 5-star quarterback, that he's transferring from Auburn as well. Yeah, I think it's interesting, and I understand Auburn was hot garbage last year and the last few years. I don't necessarily think that's the player's fault. I think it really comes down to not getting a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
That quarterback room was a disaster the last couple of years, but also I think it was Hugh Freeze. I don't think Hugh Freeze necessarily cared anymore about coaching. He just wanted to play golf and get that bag. I get it, but also you need to try and win games, Hugh.
He's trying to work in a short game. That's what he's trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, look, Hugh Freeze got up to some other things at other places. So if he's focusing on golfing, that means he can't focus on the things that got him in trouble previously. So I guess it's a win all around, except on the field.
Yeah. It's a win everywhere except where it counts.
Yeah, like Auburn's checkbooks. The fact they're still paying 3 coaches buyouts is hilarious. With Freeze, Harsin, and Gus Malzahn. Hilarious. Just
Gus Malzahn
never
was
change
gone
Auburn.
a while ago, right?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. 3-4 years ago now.
Yeah, but that's a while in college football.
That's true. Never change, Auburn. You give us so much content. You are constantly a joke. It's awesome. I love it. God forbid they ever get an actual coach. Kelsey from Hilo is going to have a field day with the things he'll say to me. But we just ragged on one school for not being able to find a coach, and Michigan did find a coach. Kyle Whittingham, who stepped down previously from Utah, was announced he retired. Then it was announced he didn't retire. He stepped down. Is going to Ann Arbor to be their next head coach. I did a short video of this on the Belly Up socials when it happened. He's not as good as Harbaugh as a coach. I think he's as good, if not better, than Sharon Moore, but he's not going to get into any issues. He follows like 5 women on Instagram. They're all related to him. He hasn't posted in years.
Yeah.
Never a whiff of any improprieties at the Utes program. This is what they need. He's going to win them some games. He's not going to win them a natty, but he's going to get them out of the NCAA's doghouse.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. This was the right hire because the win-loss column, it's not that it doesn't matter. He absolutely will win a couple of games. You might not go, 11-2, whatever it is. You might not get there, but you will certainly make a bowl game, and you will be ultimately scandal free for the next 5 years. So, from Michigan's point of view, it's a win-win. They can make a bowl game. They can possibly make a weird year where they beat Ohio State. It's one of those things, and then you're clear of all other impropriety. So it's perfect.
Yeah, I think he's a good enough coach to beat Ohio State every few years.
Yeah.
I think under his tenure, regardless of how long he's there, he is 66, so I don't think he's going to be there that long. But, I mean, 1 or 2 wins against Ohio State in 3 to 5 years isn't terrible. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's good for most programs. I mean, Michigan did just go on that 4-game run against Ohio State, so Michigan fans might be disappointed. But, hey, he's not going to cheat on his wife and then break into his mistress's house. So, a win's a win.
Upgrades, people. Upgrades.
Exactly. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how long he's there. Like I said, he is 66. Now, coaches, you can be coaching until you're in your late 70s, really. I do think there's a reasonable drop after that. But, I mean, that's still like 10 years of a good, scandal-free coach, which a lot of programs can't say. Either they have a bad coach, they have a scandalous coach, or they have both. So I do like the move. I think this is the first move where I look at it and go, yes, that was the right move. That was the good call.
It's going to be wild to go from Utah to Michigan, though.
Yeah, both are cold.
No, I realize that. It's just very opposite sides of the country. Well, not very, but north and south, yeah.
Also, opposite sides in terms of beliefs, I want to call it.
Good point. That's a good point as well. Yeah, I wasn't going to go there, but sure.
Like, I don't think Michigan's super far left, but it's not Utah, where you can't buy beer except for the hour between the hours of 5 and 8 on a Saturday. That's not true. I made it up, but I wouldn't be shocked. Now, moving on. Speaking of politics, Ciarnan, everyone's favorite topic. Ted Cruz is in the college football news. No, he did not run away to Cancun in the middle of a snowstorm. Iowa State has 17 players remaining on their roster for next year. One returning starter with the Matt Campbell hiring to Penn State. See what you did, Ciarnan?
Sorry.
It's all your fault.
Yep, that's fair.
Ted Cruz retweeted something saying that, and he said, an absolute crisis. Congress needs to act. For months, I've been working night and day to try to bring Republicans and Democrats together to save college sports. If we fail to do so, it will be an utter tragedy, and it's happening right before our eyes. Kana, what are your takes on Ted Cruz?
Teddy. May I call you Teddy? I'm going to call you Teddy. Yes. College football is going through a bit of a learning curve. I will admit it is a little bit chaotic. I wouldn't call it a crisis, and I wouldn't call it a tragedy. That's things reserved for actual things that harm people. There are a lot bigger problems in the U.S. than the college football NIL and transfers. That stuff can work itself out. It is going to be a learning process. It's going to be a growing period. It's going to be a figuring out what works versus what doesn't in the age of NIL. You don't need to be focusing on it. It's ultimately not important for your job. So please divert your attention elsewhere. It's not needed in college football.
Problem is, we need an adult in the room. I wish the adult wasn't Ted Cruz, but we need an adult to try and do something because people aren't. Part of me wishes that Sheldon Whitehouse, who's Rhode Island state senator, said this. That'd be so funny. Like Rhode Island with their two FCS programs, excuse me. Almost forgot about Bryant there. It'd be hilarious. But it's Ted Cruz. He is introducing legislation. The Student Compensation and Opportunity through Rights and Endorsements Act, which gives the NCAA a limited antitrust exemption in hopes of protecting the organization from potential lawsuits over eligibility rules and would prohibit athletes from becoming employees of their schools. I don't know how this will help with the transfer portal issue. Really, the NCAA just needs to be intelligent for once and not have the government get involved.
Yes.
Intervention is necessary to save the sport, which sounds dramatic as hell, but it's true. But we shouldn't have gotten to this point. It's because the NCAA dragged their feet for 50 plus years on paying their student athletes. And then once it became very clear that it was happening, whether the NCAA liked it or not, the NCAA, in their infinite wisdom, decided not to do anything again and then got caught with their pants down. So now you have teams absolutely dismantled because their coach jumped ship to a better program, and no one knows what's happening. And now you have guys who have professional experience, not just in football, or not really in football, we haven't seen this, but in basketball, guys who go to the draft, get drafted, then decide to come back. A hockey player played minor league hockey, went to the NCAA, got a waiver to play in the for the NCAA teams. It's ridiculous. I hate it. The NCAA needs to figure its shit out. We're talking to you, Charlie. You need to figure it out.
Yeah, but it's like I don't want politics involved with the NCAA, but you are kind of right where the NCAA has completely lost control of this situation. And ironically, hiring somebody as president who was the former governor of a state is like the correct play. But at the same time, it feels like Baker has been doing very, very little to actually stem the tide of NIL. And I also think it's come to the point where the SEC in particular and the Big Ten as well, and then Big 12 and ACC have become almost so powerful that they overrule or they can overrule anything the NCAA says when it comes to paying players and NIL and transfers and all that jazz, because there's no punishment for them. Like, it's like, oh yeah, it's a fine, but we make, that fine is 0.001% of our revenue. That means nothing to us. Like, they're so large and they have such wide impacts that nothing that the NCAA does will matter.
And the NCAA initially was founded, I believe, as like a unifying presence because all these conferences were so different in how they operated.
Right.
And there was a point in time where the NCAA was that. But it's reached a point where they have been so ineffective at doing the basic parts of their jobs that now, like you said, the conferences have all the power. Like, if Charlie Baker went to Greg Sankey and said, hey, this has to happen, he'd go, no, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Get out of my face.
Yeah.
No. What are you going to do? What if we just say, all right, we're not part of the NCAA anymore? Who's that going to hurt more?
Exactly. It's become too top heavy with no actual enforcement powers. That's what it essentially is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want this to happen. I think we're going to a point though where the Power Four just leaves.
Yeah.
Like, it won't really hurt the schools necessarily. It does not impact their accreditation. It doesn't do anything for their academic side of things. What's stopping the Big Ten, the SEC, the ACC, and the Big 12 from going, all right, we're just not going to be part of the NCAA anymore? And I'm sure there's buyouts and things like that. They have to, it'd be a nightmare. But if they could then dictate how they operate and not even have to pretend to listen to Charlie Baker, I do think we're going to that point very quickly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's wild to think about.
And to the person who's going to comment, y'all are idiots, it's never going to happen. Why? What is keeping these schools in the NCAA? Is it prestige? Because without them, the NCAA is meaningless. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes. And then maybe if those 4 go, we'll have a 14 playoff. Just those conference champs play each other.
Oh, that's so much better.
Hey, Karen, I said I don't want this to happen.
You want it to happen now?
You changed my mind.
Yeah.
Make it happen.
In the span of 30 seconds, he just came up with a great idea and goes, oh no, this is so much better. Yeah, I'm going to do this.
I've been anti-expansion for years, and we could just bring it back to 4 teams.
Yeah.
And
perfect.
You don't have to deal with, well, this school strength of record was 3rd, but this school's strength of schedule was 2nd. It doesn't matter. Conference champs, y'all are playing. Have fun.
Yeah, and the other great thing would be the fact that Notre Dame would not be invited, obviously, and so it would be a situation where they're playing all the other schools in the group of 5 or whatever, and then ultimately the NCAA has to then dissolve because they don't have the financial backing or whatever it is required, and then Notre Dame comes crawling back to one of those 4 schools and goes, please, can we join? When all their funding gets dried up.
Maybe they'll join a conference then.
Yeah, well, that's my point. Yeah.
Ciarnan, you have talked me back out of this idea. Because Notre Dame, going up against group of 5 schools, will win the national title at the very least every other year.
Yeah.
Or 5 out of every 10 years. Like, there might be 2 years where they don't. But I can't have that. Yeah, well,
yeah, but
like going, all the good schools left.
Right. It's just asterisks after asterisks. They'll have the titles, but it'll be like, yeah, but you were playing Rice. Like, you weren't playing Alabama.
It'll be the NIT.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
The NIT of college football. Also, having an actual NIT for college football, which some people have also argued for, is stupid.
Yeah, it doesn't work. It doesn't work in college football. They're 2 different sports.
Yeah. No, stop trying to make college football basketball track. Stop trying to make college football the NFL. Make it college football again. Make college football again. We're going to make that a shirt. All right. Moving on to actual football here. We're actually going to talk about games on the field again.
No,
Ryan Day. Not quite. Ryan Day, with Brian Hartline going to USF, Ryan Day has taken over play calling duties for the college football playoffs for Ohio State's run. And congratulations, Miami Hurricanes. You are moving on to the next round. We've seen this story. We know how it ends. Yeah. It's like watching A New Hope and then going to The Force Awakens. We know what's going to happen. It's not going to end well. It's going to end with people calling for your job, Ryan.
I am going to pull a Lee Corso real quick. Not so fast, my friend. Just because Brian Hartline has now gone to South Florida, they are in a position where, while Ryan Day is a poor play caller, it is not going to immediately affect them for the Miami game. You still have to remember the opposing quarterback is Carson Beck. You still have a great defense. I wouldn't be too worried just yet. When they get through, which I'm assuming they will, and then have to play, I forget who's next in the Georgia or Ole Miss, then you can start to worry. But just for Miami, it's going to be okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird what happens when you have Matt Patricia calling your defense and not trying to build up your young quarterback and calling your offensive plays, Bill. No, I'm probably being a little dramatic. Ryan Day is fine, good enough to get past Carson Beck when he throws 5 picks, but the back-to-back dream is dead.
Yeah. Like Ohio State can rely on its defense for this game, right? I think that's acceptable, right? They held Indiana to 13 in the
Big Ten
Big Ten.
championship.
Thank you. Just I completely blanked on that one. In the Big Ten championship, they held Texas to 7 or 10, whichever that one was, at the beginning of the season. So I'm not worried about Ohio State winning this game, right? I don't think Miami has the same offensive capabilities as Indiana, and they clearly don't have they might have the equal offensive capabilities as Texas. Probably better given the fact that they made it and Texas didn't, but I digress. But Ohio State can rely on their defense for this game. It's when they have to play Georgia and Ole Miss that actually do have competent quarterbacks and a running game. That's when you need to start worrying.
I think Miami's biggest concern going into this game is which Carson Beck are you going to get?
Yeah.
If Ohio State can win the turnover battle, then yeah, they can rely on their defense. But when Carson Beck is not throwing 50 interceptions a game, that is a scary offense.
Sure.
But the interceptions are talking to Carson like the Green Goblin mask every time he steps on the field.
Yeah.
It's insane how this man can go from 1 week looking like a Heisman candidate to the second week looking like the Make-A-Wish kid they pulled from the stands.
There's a lot of flack.
We're already talking about it, so I guess we'll just segue right into our Cotton Bowl preview. And yeah, Carson Beck looked good. Not great, good against Texas A&M. I think we're due for a Carson Beck masterclass. And by that, I mean Ohio State defensive backs are going to have their hands hurting from how many interceptions they're about to get.
I really thought you were going the other way with that after just talking down Carson Beck. I thought you're like a masterclass being, 5 touchdowns and 600 yards or something.
He might throw 4 touchdowns, but then he'll throw 5 interceptions.
Yeah, which is worse.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go with Ohio State on this one. I don't even remember the spread as I hit my mic.
The spread is 9.5.
The spread is 9.5. Thank you, Ciarnan, for doing your research, unlike me. Do you have any other differing opinions on this?
No, I think what I said before makes as much sense as I can.
That's fair. All right. And that game is tomorrow at 7:30. Next up, the Orange Bowl, Oregon versus Texas Tech, which is going to be noon on New Year's Day. The spread is Oregon minus 2.5. Ciarnan, what are your thoughts on this one?
This one's going to be interesting because Texas Tech has had a bye. So they've gone longer without a game, which I think actually plays into Oregon's favor. I mean, this matchup is about a 50-50 split, if I'm honest. I think that this can really go either way, and I genuinely don't know because Texas Tech hasn't played a team like Oregon and vice versa. So I suspect it's going to be high scoring. I suspect it's going to be an electric game, but I genuinely could not take a guess at who's going to win this.
Yeah, I feel like this is a much better Texas Tech team than we're used to, and this is not nearly as dominant as an Oregon team as we're used to. Both teams are good still. Don't get me wrong. I'm not like, oh, Texas Tech, they're really this Cinderella run, and Oregon, they're garbage this year. I agree. I don't know who is going to win. I don't buy into the Dante Moore hype, to be honest with you. I think he's been good, but I saw people, he was their Heisman front runner, but through like week 6 or 7. Like, I never thought he was that great. He's a good quarterback. He's probably going to the NFL, and he's probably going to be good in it. Pretty good in it. But I don't think he's this transcendent generational talent. I don't think he really showed that. And the stats don't back it up. But with that being said, I do think Oregon's good. And I don't think we're going to get an Oregon choke job yet. Well, no. Yeah, no.
See,
Give me Texas Tech. Give me Texas Tech. Give me Baron Morton and that $28 million roster. It's Ciarnan, I'm sorry. Earmuffs for a second, buddy. Just cover your ears. I'm gonna say some
okay. I'm
bad
wearing headphones though.
words. It's fine. This team struggled against Penn State.
Yes,
They needed a Drew Aller interception to beat Penn State. And look, yeah, Penn State did just dominate Clemson in their bowl game. You know what? Clemson was also garbage this year. So yeah, give me Texas Tech. I like them in this one. I don't trust Oregon in big games still.
Yeah, pretty much. They've yet to prove that, and I think that whether that has to do with coming over to the Big Ten, and last year they were phenomenal. They only lost to Ohio State, but you're right. Like this is a game for Texas Tech to lose. They are arguably better. Oregon kind of got lucky with scheduling this year. And you're right. They did struggle against Penn State, which makes it all the more frustrating for me personally, because not only did Oregon struggle against Penn State, but so did Indiana. And now I have to watch them, Oregon, and Ohio State all in the playoff while we're sitting firing our coach, hoping things will get better. So my frustration is out the window, and I don't want to see Big Ten teams win, except
that's fair. I mean,
maybe,
but also
maybe the one that I want to win. I won't say it because I feel like I'm going to jinx it.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, Ohio State at least didn't really struggle with Penn State.
Yeah, which is that was at the shoe, so wasn't it?
Kid, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think they're going to struggle with Penn State if they played on the moon.
I'm not suggesting they would.
I'm going to drop them in the middle of Saudi Arabia playing on the sand, and Penn State or Ohio State still would have won by 20.
What I'm saying is Indiana and Oregon both played at Penn State and struggled.
Okay. All right. That's true. I misinterpreted what you were saying.
Oh, okay.
All right. Moving on to the Cotton Bowl Thursday at 4. Alabama versus Indiana. Indiana is -7 in this one. And Ciarnan, I've been down on Bama.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have faith. I didn't see the vision. I'm weirdly more confident going into the Rose Bowl against the number 1 team in the country than I was against Oklahoma. Kurt, Fernando, y'all had a good run. It's over. The Cinderella run is done. It's finished. Alabama has started figuring it out. They still can't run the ball worth a damn. That's concerning. But Ty Simpson, I don't know if he was concussed or if he got the yips or what was going on. He still missed some easy throws, but also he made some huge throws against Oklahoma. The Tide is back. And Ciarnan, I want to point out some stats to you.
Oh, no.
I'm a stats guy. SEC numbers guy put this out. Ty Simpson versus currently ranked opponents. 1,386 yards, 8 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and a 62.5% completion percentage. Do you want to hear Fernando Mendoza's stats against currently ranked opponents?
Sure.
He has a 62.3% completion percentage, so about the same. However, he has way fewer attempts, 179 to 77. 670 yards, so a little bit less than half of the yards. 4 touchdowns, so half the touchdowns. The same number of interceptions, 3 interceptions. So, yeah, give me the Tide in this one. It's Kurt. I got back on the bandwagon throughout the season just because it's a good story. I don't forget what you said about SEC scheduling. There's a score to settle there, bud. So roll Tide, and I can't say the bad word I want to say, but blank Indiana.
Well, fair enough. I will say this before I give my 2 cents on anything else. If Bama goes on to win this game, and then wins the national championship, I will be so frustrated because Alabama has not looked great since Saban left. That is no surprise to anybody. If they do it with Kalen DeBoer and Ty Simpson, I will rip my hair out because they have looked garbage this year. They're rather not garbage, inconsistent at best, which is fair. To that end, I hate this because what you said makes total sense, and I genuinely do think Alabama will win this. This is the perfect recipe for Alabama to not only get back into the championship, but also win it. And I don't understand how, because if it comes down to it and it basically turns into Alabama, Georgia in the championship, I genuinely do not think the viewing rates will be nearly as high as what they should be. Because everyone's just going to go, all right, I just don't care anymore. Like, just let one of them win. I'll see you next season. This opportunity for Indiana is too great to pass up and let this be the game that you lose. If you want to lose in the championship to some weird Ole Miss game, fine. I know they're not going to make it, but that's my point.
Be hilarious.
It would be hilarious. If you lose to Georgia, fine. You cannot lose to Alabama right here, right now. You just can't. I'm sorry.
No, Ciarnan, here's why you should be rooting for Alabama.
Okay.
If you look at a lot of the changes in college football, a lot of those are because Alabama was winning too much. Transfer portal. Let's level the playing field, let guys go to these smaller schools. That didn't happen, but that's what they wanted to happen. NIL, let's level the playing field. Let's let all the schools pay their players, not just the good ones. That didn't happen. The good schools have more money. Shocker. The expanded playoffs. Well, Alabama's winning too much with the BCS, so we need to go to 4 teams. Well, Alabama's still winning too much, so we need to go to 12. Ciarnan, if a 9-3 Alabama wins the national title, people will look at that and go, well, we can't have this. And they're going to retract. They're going to shrink the playoffs so a 9-3 Alabama cannot get in.
Oh, so this is what you want.
I mean, it's a win-win for me. Alabama wins another national title. I need to get like an iron-on thing for this flag behind me, and the playoff shrinks. Like, it's a win-win. That I cannot lose in that scenario.
Yeah. Okay. I get you. So on the other side of this, Indiana's never won, right? So this is like, I mean, I don't want to say Kurt Cignetti just secured the bag at Indiana. So, like, you have him for the long haul. I don't know if you can repeat the success that you've had with Mendoza again next year, right? Whether it is Mendoza or I think he's off to the draft, but regardless. But I don't think you can repeat this success. This is kind of your one and only shot at it. Also, it helps immensely given that it's a Big Ten team who's won it. So we've got Ohio State and Michigan, now Indiana, and then Penn State, for the love of God. Anyway, it's one of those situations where I really want Indiana to win it just because of how good of a storyline it is. But when I look at everything and I say it's Alabama, it's a playoff, they're going to find a way to win. It could be the ugliest win you've ever seen, but they'll find a way to win. So I hate you, Kev. I hate you so much. I hate you and your team so much now.
That's fine.
You're so annoying. My team is irritating. My team gets on my nerves. You're annoying.
Yeah, that's fair. At least I didn't just decide to start rooting for Alabama randomly. I decided to go there because they paid my scholar's tuition.
Yeah, no, I'm not suggesting you're just a bandwagon or a fair.
Okay, but there's plenty of people like that. Have you seen the trend? Like, oh, I could have bandwagoned, and it's like the teams that are really good right now, and then, but I chose loyalty instead. And it's like, Alabama, the Rams, the Lakers, and some other random team. Like,
unless
it's
you
so
have
funny.
unless you have a direct affiliation with that team or the state or whatever, the city, you're a bandwagon fan, right? The only thing for Americans that you can kind of do that with is like European sports, right? There are European sports that you can kind of just be whimsical about. You're like, oh, specifically soccer. You're like, oh, I support Bayern Munich, or oh, I support Juventus, or oh, I support Real Madrid, right? The people that stick with teams, regardless of how good they are, through ups and downs and everything in between, are actual fans. Do not tell me that you're a LA Lakers fan and an Atlanta Braves fan, or some garbage like that. You're not. You are a bandwagon fan at best, and you are the worst type of sports fan.
Agreed. I would also say you can lose the bandwagon label. Like, if you were around in the 90s and you started rooting for the Braves because they were awesome,
Mm-hmm.
and then you just kept rooting for them consistently,
Yes,
you started as a
that's
bandwagon,
fine.
but you shook that label.
That's fine.
I think Alabama, it's kind of hard. There have been so few down years for Alabama.
Yeah.
If you rooted for or started rooting for Alabama after Stallings left, but before Saban got there, you are as opposite a bandwagon fan as you could possibly get.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, no, I'm the worst kind of fan, Kevin. I fully admit that. I am a Patriots, Bruins, Celtics, Red Sox, Alabama fan.
Yeah, you are. I mean, yeah, that's hard to beat that.
My only saving grace is the fact that I'm Alabama through and through. Like, I will root for them in any sport, regardless of who they're playing. I'm not a and I'm
Football
an
only.
Alabama for football, but I'm a Duke for basketball fan. Those people
Oh
are
yeah,
the
no,
worst.
no.
Like, I am tied through and through.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, that was a nice little segue or a
It
nice
was.
little tangent. Moving on to the Sugar Bowl, Ole Miss versus Georgia. I've been down on Pete Golding. I still don't trust him. Georgia is another. Nobody's been really as dominant as we are used to this year, but I don't trust Pete Golding against Kirby Smart. I think that's all that this game matters. I do think Ole Miss does have the quarterback benefit. I think Trinidad Chambliss is a better, more dynamic quarterback than Gunnar Stockton, but I think coaching is just so much better at Georgia, and I think Kirby's about to run circles around Golding.
Yeah, certainly. It's Georgia's defense. They've been good for a while. They're going to continue being good. I have no doubt that Chambliss is going to struggle against the pass rush of Georgia. They're not even going to be able to run the ball to switch it up. It's not so much the coaching. It's a great point, but it's going to be Georgia's defense that will carry this thing.
Yeah, Georgia's a 6.5 point favorite. Why is Georgia favored by less than Indiana against Alabama? That feels wrong.
Yeah, that does feel wrong. I feel like, yeah, that is weird.
So you're saying Georgia's that much, not that much, tough point. Are they saying Ole Miss is that much better than Bama, or Georgia's that much worse than Indiana? Or both. But yeah, that feels wrong. I feel like they should at least be the same, if not flipped. And again, not a crazy amount, not like, oh, Alabama should be a 2-point underdog and Georgia should be a 30-point favorite. But I feel like, 6.5, 7 flipped, 9 and 7, whatever.
Yeah, that seems more
know,
reasonable. Yeah.
But yeah, there's our semifinals previews. Again, those games are Miami versus Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl at Wednesday at 7:30. You got the Orange Bowl Thursday at noon between Oregon and Texas Tech. Rose Bowl, Bama and Indiana, Thursday at 4. And the Sugar Bowl, Ole Miss and Georgia, Thursday at 7:30. So, yeah, we'll see how wrong we were. Hopefully we went completely right because, Ciarnan, my bets last week were abysmal. I went 0-2 because I did what you did the week before. Illinois State and Montana State do not play until Monday. So that will get tacked on next week. Hopefully they win so I don't go 0-3. But in a first in this show's history, Ciarnan, you went a perfect 5-0.
Oh, yeah.
We've had people go 3-0, but you went. It's like when a player gets traded who didn't have their bye yet, but the team they're going to already had it, so they end up playing like 18 games. It's kind of like that. But going through it quick, my games that actually happened: Central Michigan plus 10.5 versus Northwestern. Northwestern killed Central Michigan, so that's an L. Hawaii first drive ends in a field goal made. They missed it. I believe they did attempt a field goal, so that's an L. I got a little too greedy. Then Ciarnan, the two that were from the previous week, Hawaii minus 108 with that 22-point fourth quarter comeback.
Unreal.
Gets Ciarnan a dub there in the Hawaii Bowl. Georgia Tech plus 4.5 in the Pop Tarts Bowl. Just barely hit. They lost by 4. It was a good spread there. Ohio, and then last week's Ohio versus UNLV. That was a dub. Ciarnan had Ohio winning that one. In the Rate Bowl, Minnesota minus 2.5. That was a hit. And the Pinstripe Bowl, Penn State versus Clemson, under 48.5. If
Nailed
Clemson
it.
had a competent, Clemson had a competent offense, shout out Garrett Riley getting fired. That might have been a little more nerve-wracking, but nope, 32 points was the total in that game. So again, Ciarnan went 5-0, and I went 0-2 with 1 to be determined later. Now on to our round 2 bets. These do not all have to be from the college football playoffs, and they can be games that we've already talked about. First up, I gave the stats. I said I was more confident. I'm back on the Bama bandwagon, Ciarnan. Not that I really ever got off it, but I have Bama plus 210 against Indiana in the Rose Bowl. What's your money line?
My money line is it's Oregon at it's Oregon at minus 130, even though I want it to be Texas Tech. I think it's one of those weird situations where I gamble on it and I get it right.
That's fair. What's your spread?
My spread is Georgia at minus 6.5.
That's fair. That's a good one. I have, for my spread, I have Iowa plus 5.5 in the ReliaQuest Bowl against Vandy. The SEC has not been doing great in bowl games, and just Iowa's defense is infuriating, regardless of what's going on with the offense. So I do like them at plus 5.5. And then finally, my miscellaneous, I have Ohio State in the race to 25. I do think that Carson Beck will throw an early pick or two, and that Ohio State offense, even though they're not, you don't look at their stats and the scores here and go, wow, that's a dominant offense in terms of point output. But I do think Ohio State will get to the 25 points first. Finally, your last pick here, and what's your miscellaneous?
My miscellaneous is I'm getting away from the college football playoff and I'm going to the regular bowl games. My bet is Ken Seals of TCU plus 200 passing yards at minus 215.
Minus 215?
Yep.
All right. Just as a quick recap, I have Alabama plus 210 in the Rose Bowl. I have Iowa plus 5.5 in the ReliaQuest Bowl, and I have Ohio State first to 25 in the Cotton Bowl. Ciarnan has Oregon minus 130 in the Orange Bowl. He has Georgia minus 6.5 in the Sugar Bowl, and he has Ken Seals plus 200 passing yards. Which bowl game is this?
This is it's the one tonight. I forget which one is explicitly tonight, but it's the one at 9.
Okay. So that won't really matter for the graphic then.
Valera Valero Alamo Bowl.
The Alamo Bowl. There's so many bowl games, I can't know all of them.
Yeah, I can't remember who plays in which explicitly. Yeah.
Yeah,
By the way, Tennessee just tied it up, I think.
Oh, the SEC decided to show up bowl games. I actually want to talk about this real quick, Ciarnan.
Okay.
A lot of people are pointing out, I actually got into an argument with someone on Twitter about this, and I have not gotten into a Twitter argument in years. So a lot of people are pointing out the SEC's bowl schedule and how they're not doing great. And they're going, the SEC is like 2-3 or something in bowl games. First off, one of those bowl games you're including was Alabama against Oklahoma. So that's 1-1. Houston beat LSU and Virginia beat Missouri. Virginia is the second team in the ACC, playing the 8th team in the SEC. And I got into the argument about if Virginia is better than Miami, and I didn't bring up Miami. If you're going by standings, it's Virginia. If you go by who you think's the best, it's still Virginia, the second best team. And then the 10th ranked SEC team going up against the 4th Big 12 team. So, yeah, the SEC is not winning these bowl games because we have our 10th team is also bowl eligible and going up against your 4th team. And that's not a huge gap, but also a reminder, LSU fired their head coach. This program looked like it was in shambles, and congrats. You kicked them while they were down. I don't actually care that much about that. I don't like LSU, but just because the SEC is not winning these games does not mean the SEC is not better than your conference. Sorry, our shit schools that are also bowl eligible can't beat your great schools. I don't want to say great. Your good schools that also weren't good enough to make the college football playoffs. So there's my thoughts on bowl season. Ciarnan, you got anything else you want to say before we get on out of here?
Yeah, I think the bowl games, like the record stuff, it doesn't really matter because people are opting out, coaches are getting hired and fired, like all these different dynamics are happening. This is just purely for like the bowl games, not the playoffs. The bowl games are purely for the second string players and a couple of the first string guys who are, coming back next year, a chance to show up on the national stage. Like that's all this is for. That's what people have to understand. So yeah, who cares if SEC teams are 0-5 or 0-6 currently, or whatever the most recent record is? It doesn't matter because these are not the teams that are starting the regular season. So, to come from your point, like who cares? So just enjoy the bowl games. Stop being so uptight about it.
That does hurt the narrative that SEC second stringers could start at any other conference.
Yeah, but I mean, that's
a narrative that I have not pushed, by the way.
No, I realize that. I don't think it's so much a narrative of like a realistic, college football supporter. I think this is more like, like the SEC is just so much better. It's like, well, yeah, when you put second strings up against first strings of, Alabama, the second strings come year 3 are going to be a lot better than the second strings at Cincinnati. Let's say, like when you have to, what is the thing? Iron sharpens iron. Like if you have something that's hard, you have to get better, or otherwise you don't play. It's that simple.
And then you'll transfer to
you transfer, yeah,
out of the conference.
See how that works?
Yeah. So, hey, look, y'all are beating our backups in the bowl games. Have fun trying to recruit those guys like your life depended on it when they hit the portal because they couldn't play once real starters came back. But, yeah, so that's our show for this week. Everyone have a good, safe, fun rest of your week. Everyone have a good, safe, fun New Year's. Remember, Uber is a thing. So if you're going out, make sure you get an Uber. Mix in a water, too, while you're at it. Try to eat a little bit. That'll always help. And put some Tums and a little Advil next to your nightstand for the next morning. That's just a little tip, little advice. Yeah. Ken, anything else you want to say to the people before we get on out of here?
No, let's bring on the quarterfinals.
All right, roll Tide.
They're eating the dogs, Ciarnan, in Tuscaloosa.
They're eating the
You know
dogs.
that?
They were
They're
eating the dogs.
the dogs.
Oh, a meth raccoon.
Yeah.
Just awful. There is nothing good about this. It's the worst possible scenario for the CFP, for the national championship.
Notre Dame is a mid-program with really good marketing.
And the Michigan players are going to look at that, and anybody who's committing to Michigan in the next years will just go, I want to beat them even more. Like, I wanted to beat them when I first came to the school. Recruits are going to see this.
You have, as some fans have put it, a mascot flashing their pop tussie out.
Oh, God, that's going to be part of our intro next year. Oh,